Preparing for a personal banker interview questions at Wells Fargo interview? You've reached Candy Mentor, and this video is for you. We'll walk through 20 key questions you're likely to face. For each question, you'll see a sample answer followed by the key points to cover. Subscribe, like, and share, and drop a topic request in the comments. Question 1. Tell me about yourself and why you want to be a personal banker at Wells Fargo. I'd describe myself as customer-focused, detail-oriented, and comfortable having consultative conversations. In my past roles, I enjoyed understanding what customers needed, explaining options clearly, and following through. The personal banker role appeals to me because it combines service, problem-solving, and responsible product recommendations. Wells Fargo also interests me because of its broad customer base and emphasis on rebuilding trust through strong controls and ethical customer interactions. While answering, focus on your customer service background, comfort with financial products, interest in relationship banking, and why Wells Fargo's branch environment fits your strengths and career goals. Question 2. How would you build trust with a new Wells Fargo customer? Trust starts with listening before recommending anything. I would ask open-ended questions about the customer's goals, current banking habits, and concerns, then summarize what I heard to confirm accuracy. I'd explain options in plain language, including fees, requirements, and risks. If I promise a follow-up, I do it on time. For me, trust is built when the customer feels respected, informed, and never pressured. Make sure to cover active listening, clear explanations, privacy, follow-through, and recommending only products that fit the customer's stated needs, not pushing products for the sake of sales. Question 3. Describe a time you handled an upset or frustrated customer. In a previous customer service role, a customer was upset because an order was delayed before an important event. I listened without interrupting, apologized for the inconvenience, and checked what options were available. I offered an expedited replacement and gave a realistic timeline instead of overpromising. The customer calmed down because they felt heard and had a clear solution. I learned that empathy plus action is the fastest way to de-escalate. In your answer, use the STAR method. Show calm communication, empathy, ownership, and resolution. Emphasize de-escalation and preserving the relationship while staying within policy. Question 4. How do you identify customer needs during a banking conversation? I identify needs by asking questions that connect banking to the customer's life. For example, I might ask how they manage bills, whether they are saving for anything specific, or if they have upcoming changes like moving, school, or starting a business. I also pay attention to what they mention indirectly. Then I match solutions to the need, explain why they fit, and confirm the customer is comfortable. Be sure to mention discovery questions, financial goals, life events, transaction patterns, digital behavior, and matching solutions such as checking, savings, credit, lending referrals, or financial education. Question 5. What does needs-based selling mean to you? Needs-based selling means I only recommend products that solve a real customer problem or support a stated goal. It is not about pushing the most products. It is about asking the right questions, understanding the situation, and explaining relevant options clearly. If a customer does not need something, I should not recommend it. That approach protects the customer, the bank, and the long-term relationship. While answering, focus on ethical sales, customer benefit, suitability, transparency, and long-term relationship value. Avoid sounding commission-driven or overly aggressive in product recommendations. Question 6. How would you handle a customer who wants to open an account but does not have the required identification? I would stay respectful and explain that identification requirements are in place to protect the customer, the bank, and the financial system. I would not open the account without the required documents. Instead, I'd tell the customer exactly which forms of identification are acceptable and offer to schedule a follow-up appointment. The key is to be helpful while still following KYC and account opening policies completely. Make sure to cover compliance, customer empathy, explaining requirements clearly, offering next steps, and not bypassing know your customer or account opening procedures under pressure. Question 7. Why Wells Fargo, and what do you know about the company? Wells Fargo stands out because it serves millions of customers through a major branch and digital banking network. I know the company has placed strong emphasis on customer experience, controls, compliance, and rebuilding trust. That matters to me because banking is based on confidence. I want to work somewhere I can help customers manage daily financial needs while representing the bank with professionalism, accuracy, and ethical judgment. In your answer, reference Wells Fargo's large branch network, consumer banking focus, customer relationship model, risk and compliance emphasis, and your desire to contribute to ethical service. Question 8. How would you explain overdraft fees or account fees to a confused customer? I would explain the fee calmly and clearly, using the customer's account activity as an example if appropriate. I'd avoid blaming language and focus on helping them understand what triggered the fee. Then I'd discuss ways to prevent it, such as balance alerts, tracking pending transactions, linking eligible accounts, or considering a different account type if suitable. My goal is to educate and reduce repeat frustration. Be sure to mention plain language communication, reviewing account terms, avoiding blame, educating the customer on prevention tools, and offering appropriate alternatives or digital alerts. Question 9. Tell me about a time you had to meet a goal or target. In a retail role, I had a monthly goal for customer enrollments in a loyalty program. I broke the target into daily goals, learned the benefits clearly, and introduced it only when relevant to the customer's purchase. I exceeded the goal without being pushy because I focused on value. That experience taught me that targets are best met through consistency, product knowledge, and genuine customer conversations. While answering, use a measurable example, describe planning and daily discipline, show how you balanced goal achievement with service quality, and highlight what the result taught you. Question 10. How do you prioritize when the branch is busy and multiple customers need help? When the branch is busy, I first assess urgency and complexity. Quick service needs may be handled immediately, while longer conversations can be scheduled or managed with clear wait time expectations. I would communicate with teammates, use available branch resources, and keep customers informed rather than letting them feel ignored. Even under pressure, I would not rush identity checks, account details, or compliance steps because accuracy is critical. Make sure to cover triage, communication, teamwork, appointment management, urgent transactions, customer expectations, and maintaining accuracy despite pressure in a high-volume branch setting. Question 11. How would you respond if you suspected fraud on a customer's account? If I suspected fraud, I would follow Wells Fargo procedures immediately. I'd verify the customer's identity, avoid sharing sensitive information improperly, and ask only necessary questions to understand the situation. I would not accuse anyone or make assumptions. Then I'd escalate to the proper fraud or risk team, help the customer understand next steps, and document the interaction accurately. Speed matters, but process and confidentiality matter just as much. In your answer, mention staying calm, protecting customer information, verifying identity, following bank procedures, escalating appropriately, documenting details, and avoiding accusations before facts are confirmed. Question 12. What banking products should a personal banker be comfortable discussing? A personal banker should understand everyday banking products like checking accounts, savings accounts, debit cards, online and mobile banking, and certificates of deposit. They should also be able to discuss basic credit needs, such as credit cards or personal loans, and know when to refer customers to mortgage, investment, or business banking specialists. The banker does not need to know everything, but must connect customers to the right resource. Be sure to cover deposit accounts, debit cards, savings tools, CDs, credit cards, personal loans, mortgage or small business referrals, digital banking, and knowing when to involve specialists. Question 13. Describe a time you made a mistake at work. How did you handle it? In a previous role, I once entered a customer request incorrectly, which caused a delay. As soon as I noticed, I told my supervisor, corrected the entry, and contacted the customer with an honest update. I did not try to hide it. Afterward, I created a habit of reviewing key details before submitting requests. The mistake was small, but it reinforced how important accuracy and ownership are in customer-facing work. While answering, choose a real but manageable mistake. Show accountability, quick correction, communication, learning, and process improvement. Avoid blaming others or minimizing the issue. Question 14. How would you handle a customer who refuses to use digital banking but visits the branch frequently? I would not pressure the customer or make them feel outdated. I'd first understand why they avoid digital banking, because the reason might be security concerns, lack of confidence, or preference for in-person service. Then I'd offer a simple demonstration, such as checking a balance or setting an alert, and explain security features. If they still prefer the branch, I'd respect that while keeping the door open. Make sure to cover respect for customer preference, gentle education, demonstrating convenience and security, offering gradual adoption, and continuing strong branch service without making the customer feel forced. Question 15. How do you ensure accuracy when handling sensitive financial information? Accuracy comes from disciplined habits. I verify identity, confirm account details, repeat critical information when needed, and follow system prompts instead of relying on memory. I also protect privacy by keeping screens, documents, and conversations secure. If something feels unclear, I ask for clarification or involve a supervisor. In banking, a small error can affect a customer's money and trust, so I would rather be careful than fast. In your answer, talk about verification habits, attention to detail, data privacy, dual checks when required, secure systems, avoiding shortcuts, and slowing down for high-risk transactions. Question 16. Give an example of how you would cross-sell appropriately in a branch conversation. If a customer keeps a high balance in checking and mentions saving for a home, I might ask whether they have a separate savings plan. If they are interested, I'd explain options like a savings account or CD, depending on liquidity needs and rates available. I would connect the recommendation to their goal, not just the product. If they decline, I'd respect it and continue serving them well. Be sure to mention identifying a relevant need first, explaining customer benefit, asking permission, being transparent, and accepting no gracefully without damaging the relationship. Question 17. How would you deal with a customer asking you to waive a fee? I would first listen and understand why the fee occurred. Then I'd review the account and check what options are allowed under policy. If a waiver is possible, I'd explain it clearly and process it correctly. If it is not possible, I'd be honest and discuss prevention tools, such as alerts or account changes. The customer may not love the answer, but they should feel I handled it fairly. While answering, focus on empathy, reviewing account history, understanding bank policy, explaining options clearly, avoiding unauthorized promises, and using the conversation to prevent future fees. Question 18. Tell me about a time you worked as part of a team to solve a problem. In a previous job, our team had long customer wait times during peak hours. I suggested we separate quick requests from more complex ones and have one person greet customers up front. I helped explain the new flow and supported teammates when lines built up. Wait times improved, and customers were less frustrated because they knew what to expect. That experience applies well to a branch, where teamwork affects service quality. Make sure to use a concrete example, define your role, show communication and cooperation, and connect the lesson to working with tellers, managers, and specialists in a bank branch. Question 19. What would you do if you saw a coworker violating bank policy? I would take it seriously because bank policies protect customers, employees, and the institution. If it was a minor misunderstanding, I might clarify the policy with the coworker if appropriate. But if it involved customer information, account activity, sales practices, or risk, I would escalate through the proper manager or reporting channel. I would not gossip or look the other way. In banking, integrity has to come before convenience. In your answer, emphasize ethics, customer protection, documentation, escalation through proper channels, avoiding gossip, and not ignoring policy breaches even if the coworker is well-liked. Question 20. Where do you see yourself growing after starting as a Wells Fargo Personal Banker? My first goal would be to become a strong personal banker who understands Wells Fargo's systems, products, policies, and customer expectations. Over time, I'd like to deepen my knowledge of lending, small business needs, and branch operations. If I perform well, I could see myself growing into a senior banker, relationship-focused role, or branch leadership. I'm ambitious, but I know growth starts with mastering the role in front of me. Be sure to show ambition without sounding impatient. Connect the role to learning branch operations, customer relationships, compliance, lending referrals, and possible growth into senior banker or management paths. If you are still with us, congratulations. You are much ahead of the rest and serious about preparing for your interview. We hope we were able to add value to your preparation and create some helpful content. Do not forget to like and share this video. Your small act can do great things for us.